Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It's Wednesday. It's time to talk a little afternoon Major League Baseball. 5 games are already in play. I'm Donnie RightSide, Kyle Purviance, along with Jason Radowitz and Chelsa Messinger to break down these games, get involved. Yesterday, a live team total I took on the Red Sox looked dead in the water right after I bet it. No surprise, but they actually came back for me, scored 4 runs, got the push, and I will take that each and every time. Why don't we get right into this Major League Baseball card and see what we have to offer today? And I'm going to start with you first, Kyle. The Yankees and the Blue Jays put out a tweet today. Will those Yankees get to their team total of 5 runs? Well on their way here today, Kyle.
Yeah, finally, the bats have woken up, and it's another case again when you're looking at this game early in the morning. All the numbers say yes, they're going to get it done. Especially, even with Stripling on the mound, you're like, okay, it was fine. Then they go to Zuch, like they got to get it done. They're getting it done here. It's 4-3. Now listen, we've seen the Yankees sort of fall apart late, and Kluber doesn't look great today. So if you're looking at a live betting spot, it's a 1-run game, and they got a couple runners on, or just had a couple runners on. I'm usually a little bit behind here. Maybe a little plus money on the Blue Jays if you're not trusting the Yankees yet, but it looks like they're going to hit their team total, and finally the bats have come alive early in this game.
Taking a look at this game also here, Jason. Live team total on the Yankees sitting at 7.5 minus 108. You're probably going to get into some bullpen action. Still, 5 more bats left for the New York Yankees, if I'm looking at this correctly, being the top of the 5th inning. Any looks here, Jason, on this game today here in play?
I like the Yankees, and I also like the over 10.5 at pregame. Recently, it's we'll see if they're able to get to that number. I'd stay away. I think the over right now is around 12.5. So if it sneaks down back to 10.5, maybe there's a little live chance there. But for now, I'll stay away.
Chelsea, live dog here with the Blue Jays sitting here at FanDuel, plus 210, only down 1 run. They played some decent baseball here versus the Yankees. Any looks here in a dog play, or any looks at all here between the Yankees and the Blue Jays?
Yeah, you can get the Blue Jays plus 1.5 or plus 106. I think that's probably a play I'd be looking at, just because, the Blue Jays with one swing of things can keep it close at least. And, that kind of saves you if you go into extra innings. So I think the best play, if I had one, I'm probably not playing that one myself, would be Blue Jays plus 1.5 for plus 106.
I hear you on that. It's just interesting to watch. I was trying to hope for it. Last night I got a live in play with the Yankees team total over 1. Obviously, we're not going to get that today, but still needing to get the 7.5 runs live. I'll wait on that to see if that dips down. We'll see if some of the bullpen guys come in for the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's get to the next game here on deck, and I'm glad we're going to start with you first here, Kyle. Washington Nationals, St. Louis Cardinals. I know you're on a team total right now. How are we feeling? What are we looking at going forward? Any in-play odds? Because being up 2-0 here, now a decided advantage for the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, the value's not there anymore, right? I guess Cardinals plus 1.5 at plus 110 would be I love the Nationals team total. I tweeted it out. I think they get to 4.5 runs. They have amazing splits against Wainwright. Wainwright, not one of my favorite pitchers. But of course, then we tweet out the team total, and the moronic, idiotic manager of the Nationals decides, hey, I'm going to bat my pitcher in the 8 slot, and it instantly cost him early on in this game. I mean, that could be the difference of winning the team total bet or not. And honestly, I blame Major League Baseball. They got to get out of their own way and out of these old-timey nonsense rules. Just have the universal DH. Nobody wants to watch these pitchers who couldn't hit a volleyball thrown at them bat. It's the shittiest thing to watch in sports. It's like forcing a field goal kicker to go out and play wide receiver 2 plays a game. Nobody wants to see Zane Gonzalez running a slant route from Kyler Murray. Nobody. We also don't want to watch Joe Ross swing a baseball bat. Get the hell out of here with this. So even though it's a moronic decision by the Nationals manager, and I don't know if he's trying to be smart or cute, or he lost a bet and it was either this or go to the ATM naked. I'm not sure what the hell it is. It's stupid. It's moronic. I blame baseball. But I still like the Nats team total over 4.5. But if I'm looking for value, it's not like the Cardinals are that much worse or better than Washington. So covering 1.5 at a plus number might be the live spot here.
And I'm watching through YouTube right now. No, I'm not that ugly with my facial expressions. I do blame the internet having some issues here through YouTube. So thank you guys for sticking with us through this. Hopefully it works its way out. And I hope you guys can hear us correctly, because anybody in the chat box can say, hey, at least you can hear us. We'll get through it. Maybe we're looking like animated stuff. I love when Kyle's face pauses there as well.
I make the dumbest faces too. I do. Every picture that's ever taken of me, I make the dumbest faces. So this is basically my nightmare. Congratulations. That's not good for the blood pressure, by the way. So there we go.
No, certainly not. Over under in this live here. I'm going to start with you, Jason. Looking at a total away team, obviously being the Washington Nationals, sits at over 4 minus 113. There is a guy on second base with nobody out. Any ideas on hitting maybe a live total? Even if you flip it the other side, check this out. You're going to get 5th inning, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Over of 2 is now plus money at FanDuel for the St. Louis Cardinals. Any biting on that here, Jason?
Yeah, I'm confused as to why Joe Ross has been so good these first 2 games. Doesn't make much sense to me, but yeah, Turner's on second base right now. Soto's up, so that's a good look for the Nationals if you think they're going to score a run there for sure. So, like Kyle said, there's probably no value at this point. I would go towards the Nationals at this point with the way Ross has pitched. Didn't realize this would happen. Didn't think this would happen. Yeah. I was against him against the Dodgers when he pitched there. It was a 1-0 game, and Ross looked just fine, allowed no run. So maybe this is Ross is a good pitcher. Maybe that's just that. So yeah, nothing for me. I think there's no value there, but the Nationals look like they're going to score another run here.
By the way, taking a look here, we are using, there's so much information here, the bandwidth. YouTube's like, look, way too much good stuff's coming out of this show. We got to throttle it down. So, Chelsea, I'll get with you on this game here. Looking at a big dog now, price, St. Louis Cardinals, plus 300. Did they use all their runs up last night? You go from hitting into the teens to now 0. Any looks in this game? Can they get back into it? Any dog plays? Also, over under in this game live, 6.5 as it sits, Chelsea.
Oh, yeah, it just went up to 7 on DraftKings, and I think it's probably trying to tell you something, maybe, because just a second ago, while you guys were talking, it was under 6.5 for plus 140, and I thought, wow, that's a great play, and then you blink, and it's gone, and now it's under 7 for minus 125. So I don't know if I'm a little bit behind on the feed. That's something also you have to be careful about. If your internet provider or, your cable provider is a little bit behind, you can get really burned on live betting. Right. So I think under 7's worth a look, but now I don't know if the value's gone. It's minus 124. But I think I would lean that way just because I don't know if I see 5 more runs scored.
It's an interesting point you bring up because with the advent here of live sports betting, it's wild to watch because I have a different couple feeds that I use. Usually the home feed. Let's just say I'm watching the Philadelphia Phillies on Xfinity or Comcast. That's the fastest feed I get. If I turn it over to the Major League Baseball digital package, like through the TV, it's in HD, but that's like a good 7 to 8 seconds behind what I would normally watch for the Philadelphia Phillies. And even with the dish, if you're watching live, whatever live feed you have through a sports book, they're getting that information much, much faster. And I laugh because every once in a while you're watching a game 2-0, you look down and it says 2-2. So then you wait, 10 seconds to look up and it's a home run that goes, into the seats. And by the way, a big time error here. Washington Nationals tacking on more runs. So that over 4 looks extremely good. But also for Kyle's number, you now have a 3-0 score with a man on third and nobody out right now. Beautiful. Looking to drive that home. So that's a great start. Let's keep moving around and get through some of these other games before we hit the card tonight and try to break a few things down. Milwaukee Brewers 3-0 over the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs can't get out of their own way. Kyle, I'll start with you first. Plus 780 right now on the money line, getting 3.5 runs, minus 118. This team being down 3 runs might as well be like a normal team being down 8. Like they just can't come back. They just can't hit. Any looks in this game with the Chicago Cubs here?
Well, I mean, we did like Milwaukee coming in, but now there's no value. You're not going to take a stab at the Cubs unless you're just desperate to burn money, and you never know. You get these big long shots, and so you're like, hey, I'll throw some in there. Unless you're crazy, that's the only way you're betting this. Let's not forget Milwaukee also has a terrific bullpen, so it's not like when their bullpen comes in, it's going to, the Cubs are going to put up 5 runs in the 8th. Probably not going to happen. So this one, with all the value gone now, I'll probably stay away. I guess maybe if you want to take an under on the game, if you don't think Milwaukee's going to score a ton of runs, because it looks like it's one of those games from the Cubs where they're not going to put up a ton. So if you want to take the live under, which I'm looking at right now, 6.5 plus 110, 7 on DraftKings. So that might be, and that's a really good point too. Like, Chelsea brought up while we're talking, the lines are moving. So if you're watching the show and you want to get in on the live stuff, you better have your book open and ready to click, because by the time I talk and by the time it gets to Jason, that number could have moved, 150 points. I mean, that's how live betting is. So you better have that shit open, get ready to click that button. And right now, not a lot of value. I guess maybe sprinkle on the under overall if you don't think the Brewers, because it looks like the Cubs might be in for one of those 1 or 2 run games.
And I'm looking here again on YouTube. Still trying to work through some things here, but I know you guys can hear us loud and clear, which is great. I'm wondering, can I just put like a blank, like a poster of myself and just move in front of the TV with a separate microphone? Because obviously it looks like we are just robotic here, but that's okay. We'll work through it.
You need a cardboard cutout.
I do. Yes. I mean, most people usually say I look like a cardboard cutout anyway. So Chelsea, I don't know if that's
really funny.
Too much of a difference.
I'm sorry, but it is.
I'm stiff. I'm
so
old.
Perfect.
There's not much change in me. It's one of those steps where I look at a line and I look at a live team total. I'm like, why aren't I on this? Even though I know the Cubs stink. I'm looking at an away run number for the Cubs, 1.5 at plus 102. Are we jumping in yet, or are we waiting for that one, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, Burns has been really good. Hasn't allowed too many hits, a lot of strikeouts, especially early today. And, of course, the first 2 starts that he's had as well. For me personally, coming to this game, I like the under 4.5 in the first 5 innings, but Jake Arrieta kind of took me away from that bet. And looks like I was pretty smart. 3-0 game right now. The Brewers are winning. Obviously still a chance to win that under 4.5, but I stayed away because Arrieta, not because of Burns. So I am a big Burns fan. Thought the Brewers would win the first 5. It's looking like that, and don't. So, that's a wash. We're going to move on to the next one. That's it.
And he looks here, game 1, while we're mid-game, or not even really mid-game here. Red Sox 3-0, over-under total sitting at 9 and a plus 460. If you think those Twins can come back here, Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't know. This Red Sox team is pretty volatile to bet on, it seems like, because, their offense is really good, and especially in the last 7 days. They have the second best numbers overall in the last 7 days in the whole league when it comes to on-base percentage. And average, it looks like they're second as well. No, first overall. So these sticks can really swing it. I'm sure somebody's going to take that out of context. But it can also blow it. So that's the problem with betting on the Red Sox. They don't have a whole lot of good arms, dependable arms in that bullpen. So I think that's the problem for me when betting on the Red Sox, especially live.
There you go. We'll keep moving. Last game that's sitting here live, the Los Angeles Angels and the Kansas City Royals. No score just yet. A live total of 6.5, Kyle. Any ways that we're jumping in just yet? Maybe getting a better price on that total from what the game started at?
Yeah, I like the Angels coming into this, and I know the number's dropping, so I like that. The Angels bats just have a nice split here against Keller. I'm a little disappointed they haven't scored just yet, but I love the Angels' first 5 coming in. I think that's the side to go on. If you can get like Ohtani, I have him in my home run list tonight. He just has massive splits against right-handed pitching here and his power numbers, and he's been red hot, back-to-back hot games. Love Trout. The thing about the Angels, which is interesting, is a lot of their right-handed batters are better against righties than lefties. Trout, Pujol. That's what I will forever call Albert Pujols' Pujol, and that'll be that. Jared Walsh as well. So I like the Angels here. I'd take the live spot on them. Not sure I'd go the run line, but they have good splits against Keller. If you played one of those early DFS, hopefully you got Canning in there. I like Canning a lot today as well. So for me, the play is the Angels.
Live look at this game, still 0-0 as we're in the top of the 3rd inning. Some cheap numbers coming out here on the runs on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Over 2.5 for the Kansas City Royals, sitting at 2.5, minus 130, Jason. And then we take a look at the Angels. You can get a 3 at minus 121. Minus 122. Any looks in this game?
So when the Angels get their big bats going, second time around the order, definitely have potential versus Keller. You got Ohtani, Trout, Walsh, even Pujols. Some power bats that can definitely score some runs. So look for potential there, with those big bats to score some runs against Keller, who hasn't really had the best season so far. But remember, he is a ground ball pitcher. The Angels are a team that likes to hit the ball in the air. So, things are going to play out how they play out. But, I think the Angels over 3 would be a good look here once you get those big bats in the order to hit again.
Canning and Keller on the mound here, Chelsea. Minus 158 live line on the Angels. If you're looking for a dog play, that plus 126 on the Royals. Live total 6.5 here. Any looks?
Here's a question I have for you to turn the tables. When you look at some of these teams and some of the stats live, Looking at left on base, runners left on base, when you have a high number, it's only the second inning, and Kansas City already has 4 guys left on base, which means you're making the opposite player kind of labor through those innings. And how much do you put in that stock in maybe taking that team to finally push some runs across?
I think it's worthy because let's just equate it to a game last night. Shane Bieber is cruising for the Indians. The over-under for the White Sox is like 1.5. You're like, I don't know about this. Like, they can't even get to second base at this point. So when you have those opportunities, they are high leverage situations. I agree, which means sooner or later, if a pitcher keeps doing that, law of average is going to kick in and some of these runs are going to happen because you don't want, let's just say if you're Kansas City, first and second base, oh, well, here's Mike Trout now. Well, he struck out his first at bat. Probably not going to do that in his second at bat. So I do agree with that situation, Chelsea. It's a good point you bring up.
Yeah, and mostly just because when you see pitchers laboring through those innings, when I was watching Luzardo and Gallen last night, that was just awful to watch. It's stressful to watch. They can't seem to get any clean innings, and they always get the leadoff guy on, which is always disaster. It just seems like if you do a leadoff walk, that guy's always going to score. It just seems like. As a pitcher's wife, that's what always happens.
Yep, leadoff guy on. Now we get extra innings. The guy gets to second base. So high leverage situations is what we're talking about here. Let's get into the card today now that we finished up. And again, if anything pops up on the screen, if any one of the panel here has a play or a live look at one of these games, just shout it out right now. I am on the Cubs over team. It's hilarious. You think it'd be the 8th inning. It's the 5th inning. I'm on the Cubs team total over 1 right now. 1. Oh. But then again, that is a compilation of really good starting pitching and a couple of hammers in the back end of that bullpen for the Brewers. One swing and a bat is what I like to say. We'll see if that can happen. Let's get to the marquee games. And yesterday, we could talk about doubleheaders and winning doubleheaders, but that's not really what we're here to do today on the show. 9:09, 9:10, Philadelphia, the New York Mets. Zach Wheeler going up against Peterson, the lefty, opened up at -125 offshore Pinnacle. That has now dropped to -116, and over/under of 8 across the board. I'm going to start with you first in this game, Kyle. To me, I have a couple team totals that are circled. This is one of them. Yep. If the Phillies aren't going to hit today, stacking right-handed batters in a game that they need, I don't know when they're going to hit.
Exactly, and I completely agree with you. Phillies team total is one of my favorites on the day. I think I got it over 4 at -125. I do think they get to 5 runs today. I also like the Phillies first 5. I was just trying to pull that number up, but the live betting thing crashed. But I like the Phillies first 5. It was 130. 130. Okay, perfect. First 5 minus 130. I think that's a great play. And I actually like Zach Wheeler, not on FanDuel. The two sites are exponentially different. DraftKings, he's sitting at 8,400. I think he's a nice mid-price pitcher. Has had some success in his last 3 starts against the Mets lineup. The projected lineup today, 14 for 67 at 248. Looks like, 248. Doing some quick math there. Average of 638 weighted OPS over the last 3 years. I like Zach Wheeler a little bit. Anytime I see Peterson, anytime I see a lefty, really, even Bryce Harper doesn't hit lefties all that poorly. I like the Phillies lineup. I have a ton of Phillies in DFS today. Hoskins, of course, just homered off of Peterson the last time he played him. Just hit that home run that we called on this show. I think he can do it again. Like the Phillies a lot. Love that team total, and I'll take the first 5 as well.
I think Zach Wheeler is going to be a pretty good pitching option tonight, obviously, with the Phillies. But when I take a look at that offense, it hasn't gotten in gear just yet. I do think it has the ability to do that tonight. But you're still going to get a really good Mets lineup 1 through 8 tonight going up against the Phillies, who currently struggling. You have to get one of those splits. You have your ace on the mound in a full lineup. You do nothing in the second game. You had a chance in the first game, but situational hitting. Second and third in extra innings, 2 men on base. Gene Segura strikes out. The Mets counter in the bottom of that inning and end up winning it and walking it off. Clutch hits are what get you through. Jason, looking at this game here with that price drop, you interested in the Mets at that number, or are you interested in the Phillies at a cheap favorite?
So I was looking at the standings last night, and it looks like the Mets have the better percentage than the Phillies now in the NL East. So getting that doubleheader win there makes me happy. But of course, I think things are going to change after this game. Obviously, like you guys said, the Phillies should be able to hit Peterson. And of course, as a Mets fan, I love Wheeler and I wish he stayed with the Mets. Although I do like Stroman too. He looked great and he's going to be great for the Mets, but Wheeler's a stud and the Phillies have a good one. Also, of course, the Phillies, they're going to be stacking those bats against Peterson from the right-handed side. And you also have Harper, who's good against anyone. So I agree. Phillies over 3.5 in the team total at -140 is probably the best bet in this game. And also the Phillies -120 in the first 5. Both those plays would probably be the best plays for this game.
Well, no doubt about that, Jason. Thank you for those kind words there. And maybe at the end of the show,
can I throw
we'll
one thing in real quick, Donnie, that I forgot to say, and I apologize, but I will say in DFS, like when I look at the total in this game, 8.5, I do think the game goes over because I have 6 Mets in my player pool. They do have nice splits as well against Wheeler, so it can really go both ways. So if I'm doing DFS, maybe I play one lineup where I have Wheeler and I think the Phillies are going to shut him down, and then I take another side where I'm like, okay, let me hedge this a little bit and take that Mets lineup because a lot of their lineup, Ninmo, McNeil, Dom Smith, and even Pete Alonso against righties, they all have an advantage there. So I do think the Mets are a live dog, and I think the total for the game is over, and you can use both teams in DFS, in my opinion. So I just want to throw that out there before I bagged on the Mets too much.
Yep, and he cut off Chelsea, so I'm sure she's going to hold that against you. So we'll get that opinion here. Mets, Phillies, Chelsea, any looks in this game? Phillies struggled yesterday, certainly struggled at the plate in big situations. Do they bounce back tonight up in Flushing, or is this another one for the Mets to keep on steamrolling?
Yeah, this was one of my favorite plays for the later games since we had so many games in the morning that a lot of my plays are already going on, but this is one of the ones that I did like for the later slate. Phillies first 5 on the money line, -130, and here's why. Just because David Peterson facing the Phillies again for the second time in 2 weeks, and the first time did not go well. And when you're talking about mentality for pitchers, that sucks. You know you did bad against this lineup. You know you're facing them again, and they've got it fresh in their mind. Their confidence is up. And so I think for that reason, I will be on the Phillies first 5, just as a straight fade of David Peterson here. And like you mentioned, the Phillies were really good at hitting lefties last season. I checked the stats. It doesn't look like it by the numbers this season, but obviously we're playing with a very small sample size. So, yeah, I'm on the Phillies first 5 on the money line.
Yeah, a lot of teams last year that hit well against a lefty or righty, not really showing up all that much in Major League Baseball. You expect them to get back to the norm, and this is one of those games where Peterson, the lefty's on the mound, not the most dominant lefty. You're going to stack some right-handed bats against him. We'll see what Bryce Harper can do as a lefty on lefty in this one. Let's keep going down. 925, 926 Detroit and Houston break up the Detroit Tigers. Seem like they got a handle on those Houston Astros. Big number today with Lance McCullers on the mound. Opened up at 230 offshore at Pinnacle. We're now seeing a 219. Some of the New Jersey books here as high as 240. Over-unders opened up in that 9 range, depending on your shopping at, still at 9, but primarily 8.5s across the board. Kyle, I'll start with you first. Another Detroit win here, or those Houston bats bounce back? Because I have as one of my plays today, or a chance at a play, Houston team total. I think they got to bounce back tonight at the plate. What are you thinking here?
And I think so too, but I'm a little scared now. I'm feeling cowardly about these Astros. Because, I mean, let's just face it, Detroit pissed in our Cheerios last night, straight up. They were the guy that told the dog, here's a treat, and then they lied, and the dog just sat there and looked sad on the kitchen floor, and that's what happens. And that's what Detroit did to Houston last night. I do think Houston bounces back. I love their lineup tonight. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 6 of their hitters in my DFS player pool. They have 7 hitters with an advantage. If you're looking for some value, this kid Miles Straw at the end of the lineup has actually been really good. You're getting him for $2,100 on FanDuel, basically minimum salary. $2,800 on DraftKings. A very small sample size, but a 143% advantage is something I take seriously when I just look at what the pitcher does and what the hitter does. So I do like that there. I have a lot of McCullers tonight as well. A combined 3-year weighted OPS of 703 against the Tigers. If you go the other route, Michael Fulmer against Houston, the weighted OPS is 1232. Houston should smash this guy. They've let us down. But I think what you got to do to get a better number, you can take that team total or just take the first 5 because the number's so juiced. Even the first 5's at -145. But that's the bet I'm taking. I think the Astros get it done in the first 5. That's the way I'd bet this game.
One thing, looking at Fulmer, even from this year and also last year combined, right-handed batters have a decided advantage. So maybe Altuve, Bregman, Correa, Gurriel, Strahl can get back into it. But you're going to have some lefties in the lineup. Brantley's a lefty. Alvarez is a lefty. Tucker's a lefty. But those right-handed batters look like they're going to be the strong suit tonight. Bouncing back at the plate tonight, Jason, or maybe another win for the Detroit Tigers?
I was on the Astros last night and going up against Boyd, couldn't get the job done. Fulmer was another guy that I used to always fade last year and usually got the job done. He would come in relief. He would come in to start games. They couldn't figure out what to do with him, and it never really worked out for him last year at all. But This year so far, he's looked kind of okay in his relief outings. 7 innings pitched, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs. Did allow 2 home runs, and that's something he's allowed plenty, 2.6 homers per 9 innings if you go from last year and this year. Probably home runs allowed from Fulmer. Astros probably get the job done there. I think Tucker's probably the best home run prop. I know a lot of people ask about home runs and guys who are live home run guys. I love Tucker. Think he can get the job done here as a home run prop. I like the Astros here. McCullers, a great pitcher, should do fine versus the Tigers. But again, they burned me yesterday. I can't put my hand in there again.
Looks like we'll take a look at the weather conditions here. We expected, it looks like, for the retractable roof to be closed, humid tonight, so maybe that air conditioning on might slow down some of those long fly balls. Chelsea, looking at this game, big number here, but Detroit showing a little bit of fight in this series. What are we looking at from your perspective? A big underdog shot, or come on, Houston, get it going?
Yeah, I don't think you can take Houston at minus 240. I won't be laying that. You talk about home run props. Nobody's hotter than Wilson Ramos. 6 home runs this season. He leads the majors. He's at plus 600 to hit a home run with that short porch. Astros Park, Minute Maid, super home run friendly. I don't know, if you like taking risks, maybe that's worth it. I was going to look at maybe a hit parlay. Do you guys ever do those? They're probably not recommended.
Yeah, but just fun. Crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, if you combine Wilson Ramos and Michael Brantley is usually a pretty safe play. If you combine those two, it's minus 130 because both of them have to get a hit. I'll probably, throw $1 on that just to have some fun with it. I'm not sure as professional, bettors, you should probably be recommending hit parlays, but they are a fun way to play it, especially for teams that get a lot of hits. If you look at the Dodgers, Corey Seager seems to get a hit every single night.
Mm-hmm. And just to pile on that, Michael Brantley, 5 of 12 lifetime off of Fulmer, a home run, 4 singles, a 417 lifetime average. So you're getting some nice history there as well. So I love the play.
And I think when Chelsea says it's $1, that your unit means it's $1,000, I believe she's saying. So big pockets over there. Betting some of these.
Mm-hmm. Let her know if you need a loan. Follow her on Twitter and DM her. She'll sort you out.
I'll put my Venmo on there.
There you go. Perfect.
Exactly. 927, 928. Let's keep it moving around. The Cleveland Indians and the Chicago White Sox. Rodon back on the mound after getting scratched a few days ago, going up against Zach Plesac. When I look at Cleveland, it doesn't seem to me like a lot of runs here, but they can stack some right-handed bats going up against Rodon. Yesterday, a nice win, 2-0 into extra innings, which was enough to cash that huge over 1 late in the game, which showed up in the mid-6th inning. Looking at this game tonight, I'll start with you first, Kyle. Much more the same? Are we just looking at an under here, or is this going to be Chicago White Sox going to get a victory because Cleveland struggles at the plate mightily?
The only bet I'm willing to make on this game, and it's what the people want, is the Nerfy, baby. This is the first no runs, first inning play. Both of these pitchers, we talked about Rodon against the Indians just a couple days ago, dominates this lineup, only 14-66 lifetime, 212, weighted OPS of a 3-year weighted OPS of only 513, and Plesac the other way, they're only 9 for 47, a 191 average, a 558 3-year weighted OPS against this team. So I don't have any DFS-wise. The only player I have on this are both Plesac and Rodon. I think the pitchers are the way to go here. Want nothing to do with the bats. So when that happens to me, I lean the under. Now when I see a 7.5 scares me, so I don't bet those unders. I hate betting unders anyways. So it's pretty much a stay-away game, except for the Nerfy. Let's get that first run, no runs, first inning thing that everyone turned me on to. It's one of my favorite things. And then I even heard about the Nerdy from our boy Matt Lawrence here at SBR, where you can get no runs in the 3rd inning as well. You can bet those things, which I had no bleeping idea.
Yeah, live. You could do it every inning. You could do it every inning.
Nerdy. I like the Nerdy and the Nerfy. In this game, I'll take them both, but I like the nerd. That's just the Nerdy I'm just joking about. But Nerfy, I actually like. No bats on this in DFS. I'm staying completely away. The pitchers are live. Picking a side, I think it's a coin flip.
Team totals, both sides here, Jason. If we're looking for the home team, the Chicago White Sox, 3.5 minus 105 on FanDuel away runs, which obviously would be the Cleveland Indians, 3.5 plus 104. Obviously, you can shop around and probably get those numbers a little bit closer to 3 or even buy them down substantially at some other outlets. Looking at this game between the Indians and the White Sox, early thoughts on this game. What are you looking for?
Yeah, I'm on the Indians, plus 104 in the first 5 on the money line. If it's a tie, it's a push. If they win, of course, you get plus money win at plus 104. The Indians so far, if you look back at this season against lefties, they've had some success. Luplow batting 404 WOBA, ISO 375, Hernandez 250 ISO. Franmil Reyes is dominating lefties so far with 17 plate appearances. Same with Roberto Perez, who's getting 38.5% of walks. So there's a lot of potential there with this lineup to get me a run or two against Rodon, who was just scratched due to like a stomach bug. So maybe he's not feeling his best in the first place. Then you got Plesac. Like Kyle said, he's a terrific pitcher as well. He's had a really good season so far. I think he's allowed 2 runs off 9 hits and 13 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, just 2 walks, 17 grounders to 19 fly balls. So basically 50-50 with the ground balls, high strikeouts, and allowed just 2 runs in 2 games versus the Tigers, who they've had their outbursts here and there this season already. So yeah, I like the Indians plus 104 in the first 5. I think the Indians over 3.5 can definitely hit as well. And I'm not sure if Plesac has a strikeout prop there, but would expect him to be able to get over on his strikeout props, because if you look at the lineup for the White Sox so far this season against righties, they got 7 guys that have been striking out a ton. So I like Plesac, I like the Indians here. I think he can really hold it down, and I expect the Indians to score a couple runs against Rodon early.
Condensed numbers for Rodon, the lefty, between this year and last year. Struggled with right-handed batters, a 369 weighted on base average with an ISO power number of 225, which both are elevated. Chelsea, coming into tonight, anticipated lineup here, righties, Luplow, Hernandez, Ramirez, Reyes, Rosario, Perez, and Chang. Is that enough to do some damage? And when we say damage, like 4 runs is a lot of damage for the Indians to do. What are we looking at tonight in this game between the Indians and White Sox from your perspective?
Right. It depends on which Rodon you think we're going to see, because this year it looks like he's found something and he's bounced back to, the super prospect that he once was in that Chicago White Sox farm system. But if you look back at his numbers last season against the Indians, they hit 353 with an OPS over 1,000. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the case here, because some of those players are gone. Obviously, Francisco Lindor is no longer, with the Indians. But I think I'll still be on the under 7.5, just because if history serves you correctly, it just seems like the Indians and underplays are the way to go. And if we see just a glimmer of the Rodon that we've seen, this season, and a glimmer of this Sox bullpen, if they can be good this season, because they do have, some big names in there. Liam Hendricks obviously pitched last night. But if they can shut the door, if Rodon can go at least 5, because that's another issue. We talk about starters, but sometimes these guys just don't go deep in games. But I'll still be leaning on an under, but I think the big question mark here, I think, is Rodon. Which Rodon will we see?
No, it's correct. If you're looking from an umpire perspective, I know a lot of people are into that. Doug Eddings on the mound, 248 and 218 in his career to the over. You do have winds blowing out tonight about 8-9 miles an hour, but the ultimate equalizer is what? Baseball players don't want to play in 44-degree temperatures. We'll see if that plays in, because at first pitch, we're looking at 46. By the end of the game, we're in the low 40s. Winds blowing a little bit, feels like it's 30s. That's certainly not a productive night, one would think, but we'll see if it plays out tonight. Over-under set at 7.5 in that game. Keep moving down the list. Late night, those Dodgers, 120 wins is maybe on the table for them. Absolutely ridiculous starting pitching, ridiculous batters for team launch angle, and a very good bullpen. It's going to play out again tonight, 10:10 time from the first pitch East Coast, 7:10 out on the West Coast, 9:13, 9:14 Colorado and the Dodgers. May versus Gray. Over under 7.5. Look at this number, which is what you're going to get every single night. Pinnacle opened up at 274. That's now down to 254. Keep in mind, this is like a 5th starter on the mound, and you're getting minus 250 numbers. It's incredible, Kyle. Do you just say team total over every night for the Dodgers, run line Dodgers? Who would even bet a dog against the Dodgers? It doesn't even make sense right now.
I don't think any of the lines tonight make sense either. I think we're getting real value on the Dodgers. And by the way, that team total for the Nats, the plus money, boom, they're up to 5 runs.
Bing, bang, bong.
And you know who scored the 5th run was Joe Ross. He actually hit a single to start off the inning. So we bagged on the Nationals for batting their pitcher 8th. And the son of a bitch goes out, hits a single, gets us over our team total, some plus money. So a good start to the day.
Good for you.
But I think we're getting a weird number on the Dodgers just in terms of their team total. Their team total is 4.5. I'm looking at right here at Bet Now, 4.5 at minus 115. let's just talk about what they've done to John Gray. 34 of 111 lifetime, 306 combined average. In 3 of his last 5 starts against the Dodgers, he's gotten negative fantasy points. He's gotten absolutely smashed. I love the Dodgers tonight. I love that team total. Obviously, you can't take the full game minus 240. That's ridiculous, and that's no fun. Even the first 5 is sitting at minus 160, which is a little bit... Look, if you're having a day where you don't like a lot of bets and you feel good about something, you can take a minus 160. But usually, Donnie's right. He's touched on this. You don't really want to give out or go over these 150 and above because you're sort of losing the value there. But Dodgers feel awfully good to me. Do I love Dustin May? No. And do I love over the 7.5? I can't believe that's the total for the game. I think that this game goes way over that. I love the Dodgers bats. I have 6 of them in DFS. Want nothing to do with either pitcher. Give me that Dodgers team total. Don't mind the first 5. And really don't mind the over in this game because I think Colorado can come back the other way on May. They actually have a 23% advantage here. They're going to have some good lefties. The righties hit righties well. I think the over is the play in this game as well as the Dodgers team total.
Yeah, not many runs last night from a Rockies perspective. We'll see if that changes tonight. Also, keep in mind, cooler temperatures out in Los Angeles. First pitch around 56 degrees, and that'll dip as the night does go on. So maybe that has a little bit of a play on the total. But you do bring up some good points here. It's just a matter of when you're going to go against the Dodgers. It just doesn't feel comfortable with doing so right now. Thank you guys for staying with us here. 47 thumbs up in the chat box. 84,800 people have hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done so yet, that's all we ask. Hit that subscribe button. Turn those notification bells on. Because when we go live to talk Major League Baseball Monday through Friday right here on sportsbookreview.com, you'll get it delivered directly to you. You can come in that chat box and say hello. Jason, looking out on the West Coast, team launch angle, always in play for a team total. Yeah. What are you looking for tonight?
Yeah, I agree with Kyle. I was on the Dodgers last night at over 4.5, but it was around like minus 140, around that range. Now you're getting it at minus 120. The difference between the different pitchers, Gray and Senzatella was the guy that would walk a ton of batters and get behind. Gray doesn't get behind batters. His walks are a lot lower, but he's also not getting high strikeouts. So you're going to get balls in play. And, of course, Gray doesn't really get ground balls. So they're going to be in the air. Of course, the weather might change a little bit. But, I mean, let's not overthink this. This is the Los Angeles Dodgers facing John Gray. And that's all we need to really talk about. So, yeah, I agree. Dodgers over 4.5 on the team total. It was around minus 145 this morning. Now I'm seeing around minus 120, maybe due to the weather. I don't think I heard any injury updates. I know Betts was back yesterday, hit a homer in his return, which was really awesome. So, yeah, I'd be all over the Dodgers here.
Yeah, murderer's row here. If you're looking at numbers in that condensed season last year and also this season to start, ISO power numbers versus right-handed pitchers, Betts 322, Seager 315, Turner 165, which is right about average, Muncy 234, Will Smith 301, Lux 181, Pollock 177, and McKinstry in your 8-hole 375. Tough to go against him. Are we looking for a dog shot here? Even like if you're taking a look at maybe a run line the opposite way, forget about taking the Dodgers. There's some plus money that can be had in those situations. Are we looking for an upset here tonight, Chelsea, or just say, hey, let's keep it moving here? Dodgers or nobody?
Yeah, I just don't think there's any value in playing the Dodgers. But I will say I've got total runs by the Dodgers. Over 4.5 is minus 104. Under 4.5 is juiced, minus 112. Does that seem fishy to anybody else?
Seems weird. It's so weird. It doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm just going to go.
They want you on the Dodgers tonight, right?
It does. Yeah, they're trying to trick us, but I'll take it. That's fine.
You'll take the bait.
I'll take the bait.
I think stay away game for me for that reason, just because it looks a little fishy, and usually if it's fishy, I don't think I'll be taking it.
All right, so we'll keep it moving here. That was our marquee games, and now we're going to roll it around Major League Baseball and quickly go through a couple of these games. Cincinnati and San Francisco had a nice little score fest after taking the night off. It seemed like the night before, but those bats are back. Will they continue this afternoon at 12:45 p.m. local start out in San Francisco, 9:05, 9:06. That's Cincinnati and San Francisco. Mahle is going to be on the mound versus Cueto, and roughly a toss-up. Pinnacle opened up at minus 105 apiece. Now, since it's a slight favorite to Cincinnati at minus 114, over-under in this one opened up 7.5, now sits 8.5. Cincinnati bats are hot, Kyle. They stay hot today.
I think they should. I do actually like them in DFS. Again, Johnny Cueto came out. I think there was the last time he pitched, and I said, listen, I always stack against Johnny Cueto. I think he's terrible. And what does he do? Go out and throw 9 innings and put up this absolute massive, massive start. So I'm a little nervous about that, but I still do like Cincinnati. Again, it's not just that their lefties hit righties well. Of course they do, but their righties hit righties well. Almost every one of their right-handed hitters is better against right-handed pitching than left-handed pitching. It's very, very strange as you go down from Votto to Suarez. Then you've got Winker, the lefty, at the top of the order. So I do like the Reds here. Their team total sitting at 4.5 at even money. I'm gonna stay away from that 4.5. I do think it's a bit high. I do like him in DFS, but it is a bit high. When I look at the first 5 in this game, I actually get plus money on the Reds here at plus 120, first 5. So it's one of my favorite plus money spots. Male's not very good, obviously. We know that. But Cueto has this tendency to kind of implode. So I think Cincinnati can get it done the first 5. If they don't, look, we're taking an underdog here. We're taking a plus money bet, but I think it's one of the better plus money spots tonight. Reds first 5, plus 120.
Bagging on Joey Votto yesterday, he ends up with hitting a home run. If we take a look at the rest of this lineup, it's like murderer's row just in this short condensed season versus right-handed pitching. Winker, 531 weighted on base average. Castellanos, 429. Suarez, 366. Moustakas, 391. Naquin, 439. India, 348. And Stevenson, 402. What are we looking at, Jason, in this game? Do we get runs? It should be a nice day out in San Francisco. Not that night game where it's freezing cold temperatures, but they did put up some runs last night. Do we see that again today in this game?
Cueto is really hard to figure out. This is a guy who seems to always kind of start the season well and then starts to kind of struggle, allow some runs in the middle half of the year and late half of the year. Cueto looked really good in that last start. 8.2 innings pitched, almost got through the entire game in his last start. So this is just a hard one for me. Definitely a stay away for me. I thought I liked the Giants over 3.5 in the team total against Maui. I think the Giants have enough offense to be able to get that 4 runs, and I do think that Cueto holds it down, at least for now. I know Kyle is a big Cueto hater over there, but I do think Giants plus 100, I think there's value there, but you won't see me taking it.
Cueto's pause at the top of when he's getting into his, stance is ridiculous stuff. He's got to throw the batters off, but use anything to your advantage out on the mound. Roughly a coin flip here, Chelsea, as we look at this game between the Giants and the Reds. Are you seeing anything clearly in this one? Which side you would like to take?
Oh, I was way off on this one last night. If you have a moron alert or a moron, siren.
We use it for Kyle. We have one for
That's
Kyle.
right here, yes. Woo, woo.
Yep, I need that because I had an under in that game last night, and I just turned it off, went to bed because clearly I don't have a handle on these two teams. I thought it was going to be more low scoring. So there is no reason why I need to put my input on this one because the moron alert would be sounding if I did, probably. So
there you go, San Francisco.
That's a no-go for me.
Makes me feel good. That makes me feel good, honestly.
Honestly, we like to rag on each other quite a bit. We like to talk more about the losses that we have than the actual wins that we have. This is probably the fastest game we're going to get through tonight. Second game of the doubleheader, freezing cold temperatures, Boston and Minnesota. Total is sitting at 6, obviously, because it's a 7-inning game. Rodriguez versus Barrios in this game. Any looks here? Or are we just going to say, I don't even know what the lineup is. How am I going to bet this game, Kyle?
Yeah, no clue. We just don't have any idea what's going to happen, so it doesn't make any sense. This would be if you're up late or you're a Red Sox fan, you're a Twins fan, and you just desperately want to watch this game and bet on it. Live betting spot. Just kind of.
I don't know why you would be up late at 5:40, but since I'm old, that is kind of
5:40. Isn't that 8:40 your time? You should be in bed, Donnie. You should be in bed by that time, getting ready for tomorrow. But
filling the Cracker Barrel for that.
Yeah. Exactly. It's late for Cracker
Barrel. I got to
stay the hell away from this game. Stay the hell away from it. It's a live betting spot. Wait to see who the lineups are going to be, and then jump in there. That's the only thing to do in this game.
Jason, any looks Boston, Minnesota here?
So far, the Twins' offense has been quiet. Maybe they'll get a little bit, louder in that second game with Barrios on the mound. This is tough. They're not really great against lefties in the first place, so definitely a stay away game for me there. And we'll move on to the better games on the slate.
Yeah, no bump. Donaldson back today, or eligible to be back today in one of those games. We'll see. If I don't actually know. I think he's in. Was he in the first lineup today? I doubt he was going to play back-to-back anyway in that instance. But Chelsea, looking at this game, back end of a doubleheader, cold temperatures up in the Twin Cities, and he looks here in the second game here.
Yeah, it's tempting to take an under just because Barrios has been so good this season, and especially his strikeout numbers are so good. But you're looking at this Red Sox lineup that has been red hot. I mentioned it earlier in the show. Over the last 7 days, the hottest lineup in baseball. However, I think the under would still be the play with the temperatures and also the way Barrios has been pitching. His stuff is electric. If you talk about guys that have been there for a few years, can't seem to put it together, he's been one of those guys. And if he can really put it all together, he can be a really elite level pitcher when it comes to swing and miss stuff. So, yeah, I think I would lean the Twins here, but definitely not my favorite play. Second game of a doubleheader. Don't love it.
Look, horns are going off out there, but I do have to, like, the professionalness of that name calling here, because I am with you, like, in the elite status of calling him Barrios, which is correct. If I hear Barrios one more time out here by a few people on this panel, I'm going to lose it. So thank you for supporting us on proper enunciation here on sportsbookreview.com, Chelsea. Appreciate it. 907, 908, San Diego, Pittsburgh, Musgrove, Anderson. I don't know what happened last night. Hey, Snell's on the mound. No Colin Moran for Pittsburgh. This team won't even get a base hit. My goodness, they went off. How about today? Is it a bounce-back effort at a minus 205 for San Diego? Or is this one of those, don't stop Pittsburgh, here they come, Kyle?
Oh, boy, oh, boy. I actually like Musgrove quite a bit. He's got really, really nice splits against this team, and he's just been red hot. His last 4 starts, nothing less than 55 DraftKings points. He's absolutely on fire. So his stuff is really good right now. Threw a no-hitter, for Christ's sake. I mean, you can't get any. And that does make me a little nervous, actually. Once a guy throws a no-hitter, right, they usually don't. I mean, once in a while, who was the guy that threw back-to-back no-hitters or no-hitter one? I can't even remember. But, yeah, it should be the Padres today. You're not getting a great number on it. Looking at first five. Well, first 5 minus 135. So that's probably the bet there. Padres minus a half run and first 5 at minus 135. He's on fire. I actually love him for DFS. In terms of the bats for the Padres, I keep wanting to put him in, but really all I have today is I have a little bit of Hosmer. Even though he's not great against lefties, he's had some success and homered off him a couple times. And a little bit of Manny Machado. That's about it. I'm leaning Padres first 5, and I love Musgrove as a DFS pitcher today.
A lot of anger in the chat box with the Padres. You could tell who was on them yesterday in a parlay, first 5, whatever they were doing. Padres suck, fading Padres, and Padres are cheeks along with Padres equal garbage. That's where we're going with this one. Are the Padres garbage tonight again, Jason?
No, Musgrove is not garbage. He just threw a no-hitter, and that was against a really poor offense. Now going up against another poor offense. Although the Pirates have looked a lot better recently, a competent pitcher will be able to keep him down, and that the Musgrove there. I do like the Padres minus 0.5 in the first 5, like Kyle said. I agree with that. I had Musgrove minus 0.5 in the first 5 when he had that no-hitter, so that made me kind of excited just to be a part of history like that with one of my wagers. And I agree. I think he's going to be able to do that again. Anderson on the mound for the Pirates hasn't really had a great season so far. Already allowed 3 home runs. Ks are up and walks are down. That's pretty good. But, yeah, I think the Padres should be able to score a couple home runs in this game. And we'll see. The Pirates, they're a good offense, but, Musgrove's pretty even keel. He'll be fine. And you can't, we talk about, the Padres, when you have a no-hitter, these pitchers are, maybe going out partying or whatever. Can't really party right now due to COVID anyway. Not saying that he did or didn't. I have no idea, but maybe if he was able to stay in just a little bit longer, it'll help him out and pitch a little bit better in this one.
And don't tell Kyle you can't party through COVID.
That's right.
So there's a lot of partying going out there in the state of Oregon. Now, this is the part that I like a lot here because Musgrove throws a no-hitter in the last game. This is where we get inside information from Chelsea here. I'm pretty sure your husband had this multiple times where coming back from a no-hitter in the next game, how to handle it. Give us your inside information on this one, Chelsea.
Yeah, no. But what we're failing to say is Joe Musgrove almost had a perfect game. He only hit one batter. Right. So not only did he have a no-hitter, his control is really solid, because being able to have a no-hitter obviously is impressive, but a perfect game, that's crazy. One hit batsman away from that. His strikeout prop, over 6.5 for minus 113. I'm taking a long, hard look at that because first 2 games of the season, he struck out 8 against the Diamondbacks, 10 against the Rangers. I think 6.5 is worth a long, hard look here, especially when you've got a guy that his whip is so low. It's 0.2. That means he's not laboring through innings. And those are the guys you need to avoid because their pitch count gets up and they can't go deep in games, and it translates to less strikeouts. So I think his strikeout prop is one way to play him that's not super juiced because, if you take the Padres, obviously a lot of juice going along with that. So maybe another way to look at that game.
No, it's always a good thought process behind that because when you have these teams with these high numbers, there are some bets that technically correlate with those that are much less, that's going to go against you if you're not wanting to lay that much juice in that one. So good points brought up here, 921, 922. Man the decks. If you are sitting in the outfield seats, if I don't even know if Baltimore Orioles are getting much fans, you better have your hard hat on because get ready. It's Dunn versus Harvey. Balls will be in the air. 9.5 is a total. 116 is a favorite. Kyle, I'll start with you first. Dunn versus Harvey. Not exactly waiting on a pitching, novelty in this game, are we?
No, I actually like the Mariners in this, but the problem is this game has a real high risk of not being played. It's not looking good on any.
And would anybody care, Kyle? Would anybody care?
No, I'm only the deputy weatherman. Exactly. No one would care. And again, but going into this, I love the Mariners. I liked all their splits, and I thought that Dunn was a nice little value pitcher there on DraftKings as well at 6,100. Against this Baltimore lineup. The problem is the weather is really, really bad. So I wouldn't encourage anyone to go. I would wait to make sure this game's actually going to be played, maybe right before the game or a live betting spot because I've looked at 4 different weather outlets. This is looking really, really iffy. So it's hard to pick a spot. If the game is played, I like the Mariners. I like them halftime, full-time. And I think Dunn's a very interesting value play on DraftKings and FanDuel.
Game probably has a decent shot of getting at least postponed or starting late tonight. And the only reason why we're talking about it because I know you guys can't see from the camera. When we set this up, Jason actually has a Matt Harvey Dark Knight poster in his room that has to take down. So Go ahead, wax poetic against Matt Harvey. Even if it doesn't start tonight, we get a chance to talk about Matt Harvey. Go ahead.
Yeah, the weather is obviously concerning. However, when you look at the numbers without the weather, the over 9 at -120 looks like a great play and something I'm on, hoping that we can get the game in. But I also would like to get up early, so if they're going to cancel it, just cancel it early for me, so I don't have to worry about staying up till midnight or 1 o'clock.
He's like 22, folks. He's 22. The young man. He needs to sleep. Unbelievable.
But either way, look. Matt Harvey is a guy that allowed 3 home runs per 9 innings, dating back to last year and this year. Not a big sample size, of course, but big enough to know that he's going to let up some home runs. His control looks better this year. Still, he's going to let up some runs. Dunn, on the other hand, he walked, 8 batters in that last start, struck out 3, allowed 3 earned runs off those walks, allowing just 1 hit. 8 batters that he walked. That's ridiculous. And obviously, if it's bad weather, sometimes that's good for the hitter. Sometimes that's good for the pitcher. He looks like he has control issues. So maybe that goes and maybe he continues to walk with the bad weather there as well. So I like the over 9. I think both teams have potential to get extra base hits, potential to get home runs. Like Donnie said, we're going to see the ball in the air, and we're hoping that some fans can get some souvenirs.
No, exactly. And when you take a look at bad pitchers with rainouts, they love it. That means they can stay in the Major League Baseball, at least another 5 days till their next start. Looking at these 2 teams' lineups, and these are the ones you look at a Yankees lineup. Hey, look, that's Aaron Judge. That's Giancarlo Stanton. These guys. I'm not too sure that regular Major League Baseball bettors, if you put these pictures in a lineup and you could pick out which player is which, outside of me with Maikel Franco, who played for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Freddie Galvis, there's a lot of guys you're going to pick out Jose Marmolejo. It's that's Jose Marmolejo's right there. Yeah, congratulations. Chelsa, looking at this game in Baltimore, we don't know if it's going to play, but if it does, what are we looking at?
Not playing anything on this personally, but I would lean Mariners in the first 5, plus 106. That's some nice plus money there if you can stomach a Justin Dunn. Like we, have mentioned, he walks a lot of guys. Walked 8 batters in his last time out. But only gave up 1 hit, kind of Tyler Chatwood numbers. If you remember when he was a starter for the Cubs, it was just kind of hold your breath. He won't allow that many runs, but he's going to walk the house and make you feel awful about betting him. Speaking of feeling awful about betting on someone, Matt Harvey. I think this is a straight fade of Matt Harvey for me. Not sure how he keeps getting starting jobs, but yeah. And he would be one person that would find a way to party, through COVID, I think.
Sure.
Wasn't he the one that got
with him?
in
Yeah,
LA?
He's a fun guy to hang out with, A little
now,
weird.
Chelsea, if some burner accounts from Twitter come your way about Matt Harvey comments, it's probably a guy on the show that's watching you right now, probably staring you down immediately. And that would not be me, and that would not be Kyle, but probably Jason. Right. We get all this hate on Matt Harvey. Is you okay over there? Are you all right?
Good. I'm good.
Matt Harvey went to UNC, and I went to North Carolina State. So my hate is warranted. He's a Tar Heel, and we don't like them.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Chelsea, this is really cutting right here against one of the guys on the show here. But we'll keep it moving here. We'll have some fun. But because talk about cutting, I talk about Texas every day on this show, how bad they are in a single-A ball club. And then I check back like, yeah, they scored 8 runs last night. I'm like, I don't know how they're doing it, but they're at a big number again tonight, minus 189, total of 8 across the board. Texas, Tampa Bay. Any looks here on this game for you, Kyle, to start?
I have a little DFS interest in some Tampa Bay bats. I'm not betting this game. Texas is a team that I just can't figure out, neither is Tampa Bay for that matter. I can't stand Tampa Bay. I hate the teams that come out with the closer to start the game and all this crap. I'm so sick of Tampa Bay's bullshit. I really am. I'm just tired of this team. They don't score runs. They do 7 relievers a game. Get the hell out of here. Pretend you're a Major League Baseball team for once in your damn life. I hate the Tampa Bay Rays. I used to love the Texas Rangers when I was a kid. Ruben Sierra was one of my favorite players. But I cannot stand either team. Tampa Bay is a favorite. If you want to do a first 5 to get an advantage there, sure. I do have a little, I love value catchers. So you can get Zunino at a good price, has a 51% advantage today against Arihara. And Yandy Diaz I actually have on my cheat sheet. I think Yandy Diaz in the middle of that order has a nice advantage as well. He's been pretty hot, couple double-digit fantasy outputs the last 4 games. So maybe some Diaz in the middle of that lineup. But for the most part, it's stay away, maybe Rays first 5.
There we go. Texas, Tampa Bay, Arihara, and Fleming. Big price here, Chelsea, to pay. Looking at about a minus 189, minus 190, some 200s across the board, over under at 8. Any looks down in the Trop here?
Yeah, short answer, no.
And
I hope you can't hear this, but somebody's blasting the theme song from Titanic outside my window, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but if you can hear it, I'm sorry.
It's Canada's
the husband is
gift.
out there. Look at that.
Celine Dion is Canada's greatest gift to the world. I love Celine Dion. I could listen to her all day long.
That's
somebody else can too, apparently.
There you go.
Maybe that is Kyle's.
Give him my number. Give him my number.
Talk it out. My number. 9/11/9/12. Miami and Atlanta. Nieder versus Morton here. Yesterday, look, we thought Miami was going to be a good play. Certainly looks like the bats are hot for the fish as we move into this game. Kyle, 8.5 as a team total. A total for the game. Look at this jump. 195 at Pinnacle Offshore. Now sitting at 237. Are we trusting the Braves just like that? I actually like the pitching matchups the last 2 nights for the Marlins. Not so much tonight, but that's a big number, expecting the Braves to win tonight.
It really is, but I do love the Braves batting order tonight. I got 6 players in my DFS lineup. Darnod, Albies, even Albies has a huge advantage tonight. Freddie Freeman, of course, who's been red hot. Ozuna, still good. He's better against lefties, of course, but still good against righties. Proved it yesterday. A lot of runs yesterday. You could see that again today. Actually, when I'm looking at the Braves team total, it was high, right? What did I see a 5 or a 5.5, which kind of steered me away from that? Is that what I was looking at? I lost it. I had it right here in front of you. 5.5.
In that range, yeah.
5.5 is too high for me. I don't love that. I will take the Braves first 5 and full time. I do think the Braves get it done tonight. You're not getting a great number on that, minus 150 and minus 245, so not a ton of value. I like the Marlins yesterday, but today I like Morton. I have Morton in DFS as well, has nice splits against the Marlins. Today, it's about the Braves. Only a 667 weighted 3-year OPS, 8 for 34 lifetime, put up a 45 his last start against the Marlins. Braves are bust for me tonight.
So, some rain expected in the forecast tonight. Winds blowing out about 10 miles an hour to left field. But you also take a look at Alfonso Marquez, the umpire, an under record here, 205 and 238. So giving that wide strike zone doesn't help the runs. When I'm looking at it there, 5 as a team total for the Braves, sitting at FanDuel minus 106. Look at the Marlins. Cheap number here. Over 3, minus 122. Any looks here, Jason, in this game down in Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm on the Braves over 4.5 team total. I did get it at minus 130 earlier. It looks like now it's obviously juiced up to minus 150. So if you want to pay the juice, do that. If you want to stay away, do that. If you like the Braves in the first 5, I agree with that as well. Like Kyle said, it's really Braves or bust at this point. I think they turned it around here. I think the Marlins got all their offense out last night, and now it's the Braves' turn. Obviously, they scored 8 runs last night as well. So, but they'll keep going. I like their offense. Like Kyle said, they got a lot of potential in that lineup. And Charlie Morton looked a lot better in his second start compared to his first start, and would expect him to continue doing that. So, again, Braves over 4.5 team total at minus 130 is official for me. Now it's at minus 150. I would still agree with it. If it's more than minus 150, I would probably just go with the Braves in the first 5 at that point.
Versus right-handed pitching here, again, Acuna and Freeman, not much to like about the rest of that Braves offense. We do expect them to hit as the summer continues. Are we looking at a Marlins another win against the Atlanta Braves here? Is this big price going to keep you off a number, or maybe another shot at a big underdog here on the Marlins, Chelsa?
Yeah, at some point this Braves lineup has to break out, and if you're betting on a day-to-day basis, like, it's just hard to go against them, just because if you go against them and they hit a ton of home runs, you're going to be kicking yourself. However, it just seems like the Braves have tough luck when it comes to the end of some of these games. They've lost in some heartbreakers. The bullpen has blown it in some games. So I think first 5 is the way to go.
On behalf of me and Jason, boo-hoo Braves for having bad luck late in innings, taking losses here. Hopefully for me, they take another loss again tonight. But if you're betting on it, is what it is. Maybe get a live total that you would like, but that is a cheap number of 3. We'll see how that weather holds up down in Atlanta. Got through the entire Major League Baseball card, had a little bit of problems to start the show with internet. Looks like most of that has been cleared up, but it's time to talk a little bit of best bets and bankers today. We're going to go around the horn. Kyle, I'm going to start with you first. What's in play tonight to make some money on?
I'm trying to remember what the Phillies team total. I love the Phillies team total there. I think you're going to score there with that one. I also love the Padres first 5 against Pittsburgh. I think they get it done as well. And I can't remember what my favorite plus money spot was, but I know it was somewhere in there. If you go back and watch the show, you'll find that. But for me, Phillies team total. I'm getting old, you know what I mean? Phillies team total, and I like the Padres first 5.
We'll see what happens in that, so we'll keep track of them, see if we can pick up some dollars. Jason, coming to you here. What are we looking at tonight? Best bets and bankers on the board tonight, Major League Baseball.
I'm on the over 9 in the Mariners-Orioles game, so over 9. I would rather you get over 9 than 9.5, of course. If you get a 4-4 game, that's 8, and then 1 run is 9, so you get at least the push. So that 9 is a lot more important than the 9.5, so get that 9 if you can before taking that 9.5. Also on the Braves, over 4.5 on the team total at minus 130. Now I'm seeing minus 150. So really any direction you go with the Braves, I like. So if that helps in any way, Braves in any kind of bet, I agree with. Then lastly, Indians plus 104 in the first 5 innings. Love Plesac here, and I think that the Indians bats get a couple runs for him.
There you go. Chelsea, coming to you for some best bets and bankers. We're going first 5. We're going overs, unders. What do you got on the card tonight for us?
Yeah, let's take Phillies first 5, and I've kind of touched on this earlier in the show. Straight fade of David Peterson facing the Phillies again for the second time in, 2 weeks. Last time he didn't do well, giving up 6 runs in 4 innings. He did have 5 strikeouts, but I like this Phillies lineup against David Peterson here. I think that's going to be in his mind that these hitters hit him well last time. I think that's a mental problem that Peterson's going to have to face. And plus, the Phillies were pretty good against lefties last season. Let's do that. And also, taking a long, hard look at this over 6.5 strikeout prop by Joe Musgrove. Not only was he, phenomenal in his no-hitter, he's actually been really efficient, keeping his pitch count pretty low throughout the innings. And when you're looking for strikeout pitchers, you need guys that can work efficiently so they can go deep in games. I know the Pirates have not been the cellar dwellers of the strikeouts that they were last season, but I am taking a long, hard look at over 6.5 strikeouts for Joe Musgrove.
I like it. There's three choices I was going to make today between Houston, Philadelphia, and also the Cleveland Indians. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Phillies as my best bet tonight at MGM. Team total over 3.5, minus 140. I do think they can get the 4 runs, and obviously, if they get more than that, every single number across the board will cover. It's more of a projection to me as of what the Phillies have been doing this year. Haven't hit all that well just yet, but they'll be able to stack right-handed bats. The official lineup is out, and only one left-handed batter in the lineup. That's Bryce Harper. The righties, McCutchen, Hoskins, Realmuto, Bohm, Segura, Torreyes, and Quinn. That 7-8 hole is kind of interesting here with 0 power and maybe the 2 shortest guys, it seems like, in Major League Baseball. But maybe that'll equate to get more runners on base to try to confuse and take the pitcher out of his game. Maybe that running game can be in order from 2 quick guys down at the bottom of the lineup. But I do think the Phillies hit, so I'm going to go with that 3.5 team total. Over 140, we're going to clear the bases here. We did run overtime by about 15 minutes, so overtime checks, get ready. We're going to make a little bit more money today. I kid. But we're going to get out of here. We do want to thank you guys for joining us today, putting up with the internet issues that we've had. We'll be back tomorrow on Thursday, 2:30 p.m. to go over a full Major League Baseball card. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Kyle Purviance, Jason Radowitz for Chelsa Messinger. We are sportsbookreview.com. This was your Major League Baseball show, and good luck on your wagers tonight.